Hey everyone, Kyle once again, and welcome back to the next movie review. Which I wanted to get a couple movie, like I usually do every month of June for an anime month. I always get a couple of regular movie reviews in, which I'll still continue. Which I will still continue after when this is all over. I'll continue with the Steven Seagal movie marathon though of his direct-to-video films, but still. But I just want to get a couple of regular other movies or movie reviews in for the month of June, anime month. And with this one, I wanted to do review for quite a long time, but I just didn't want to because for good reason. Because it's another remake, which I'll show right now. The 2005 remake of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. From 2005, directed by Tim Burton, starring Johnny Depp. Now, okay, first of all, guys, let me say this though. But reason why I wanted to review this now because back in the beginning of April, one of my I said a couple times where I lived, right? But over here is where I have the Prune Yard Cinemas, right? Very close, 10 minutes away from where I live, you know. And sometimes they have special night showings of the movies they choose to release, right? And the beginning of April, this new beginning of April, they had a late night showing of the original Willy Wonka the Chocolate Factory. And okay, cool. And when I got there, you know, the whole theater, every single seat was full. I got a lucky seat though, right in the front though, right? So I got to see it up close. So. And and seeing the original Willy Wonka the Chocolate Factory on the big screen, it was great because how much I enjoyed the original, especially not only with the kid who played Charlie. He was once again really good, you know. Jack Albertson as Grandpa Joe, I always enjoyed, but especially and also the other kids as well, you know, Augustus. Mike TV, Augustus Gloop, Mike TV, Violet Beauregard, Veruca Salt, sorry. And then the highlight of the film, Gene Wilder as Willy Wonka. You know, just seeing how this, you know, how mysterious this guy is. He's smart. He's a genius of making candy, but yet at the same time very mysterious. Sometimes, and they look when the other kids and the parents look at him, see how kooky and weird he is, you know. But and how he makes his candies and stuff. And then especially when Gene Wilder, when he was going absolutely apeshit, and especially if everyone knows, but the whole tunnel scene of him just going apeshit, you know. Yes, the danger must be crossed. It keeps on rolling, any side of the all slow. I miss Gene Wilder from Young Frankenstein to Hear No Evil, See No Evil, Blazing Saddles, and I miss Gene Wilder. Rest in peace to him. It's just, especially the production design from back then, from 1971. The music was so memorable and timeless, you know, and just seeing it on the big screen and after so many years, it shows what an absolute classic Willy Wonka was. Yeah, I know the original author, the author of his book of Roald Dahl, who wrote the book, how much he disowned the original movie, how much the stuff they changed from it, you know. But the thing is, I'm like, man, you know, dude, you know, I know he's dead at this point though, but for me to say at this point, Roald Dahl. Look how much of a fan base that film got over how many decades after that film was released, right? How much people appreciate it and why it's regarded as such an absolute classic, you know? Regardless of hell, you know, films make so much changes from from the books and novels they've been adapted from, like from Stephen King stuff or other like romance books, or even speaking of the Marvel comic books that they changed what we see in the Marvel movie, especially in the MCU, you know. What did people make the complaints of any of the changes from the stuff from the Marvel comics of the recent Marvel films we've watching? You don't hear much complaints about that though. But yeah, just I'm saying. But But it was a great theater experience seeing that. Now after that, I had to sit down and watch the 2005 remake of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, and I gotta say, I like Tim Burton as a director. You know, I like Johnny Depp from some other films from before. I'm sorry, I think this film sucked to me still. To me, the film still sucks. And I'm sorry, see, I'm coughing and getting a frog in my throat because I don't want to talk about this movie. And this was the start, this was the point for me. When I saw this in the theater back in 2005, see, I want to, this is to me, this is the start of the downfall of Johnny Depp. Before this he did Jack Sparrow because this is 2005. The first Pirates movie was 2003, but I did like his character of Captain Jack Sparrow. Yes, but when he plays Willy Wonka, to me this is the start of the downfall of Johnny Depp, because from then onwards he would start getting these weird for the sake of weird roles, like we did with Mordecai, like the film Mordecai, or he was like character Guy Lapuente from Kevin Smith's Tusk, was playing all these weird characters. I'm like, and those films were all flops, by the way. Not this film, because this made over 400 million worldwide. But just the characters he's been playing after this, besides Captain Jack Sparrow, I know, but. Johnny Depp, you know. And yes, I know the whole thing. Yes, the whole thing. I'm not getting into the whole thing about with his trial with his ex, Amber Heard. And yeah, if one being put it bluntly, yeah, okay. If I want to say anything quickly about that trial, yeah, I favor more Johnny Depp more than Amber Heard, because I don't like Amber Heard. If I would spit in her face if I wanted to. Fuck Amber Heard. To me, yeah, I would. Yeah, and that's why the stuff was more in favor of Johnny Depp. You know. Yeah, I was like, you know what? I would pick Johnny Depp because I think he did. All he said was words, though. But it was like far as what Amber Heard has done. Fuck Amber Heard. Yeah, I would rather be more in favor of Johnny Depp in that matter, though. But I don't want to say more about that trial. That's a completely different subject, though. But this is the start of the downfall of Johnny Depp, you know, because he's been having nothing but flops after what he does. Like after this, like the characters he plays, you know what I mean. But because to me he sucked as Willy Wonka, because we think he's trying to be like more of a Michael. I think they were trying to do make him like more like Michael Jackson, and that doesn't fit because the way he was talking, you know, the way he was speaking, it's like oh, good morning, sunshine, the world says hello, or let's see what other those cookie, or because. The way he talked, I'm like, it just got very annoying and irritating. Johnny Depp. He was so annoying and irritating as Willy Wonka. To me, this is one of his worst roles. I'm sorry. And Tim Burton. I like Tim Burton. You know, my favorite of his. I love Sleepy Hollow. But see, that's one of Johnny Depp's much better roles as Constable Ichabod Crane. He wasn't acting weird. Yeah, the way how he's investigating like the body, the one body and stuff, right? But he was actually pretty much more normal than he was than this, though. I love Sleepy Hollow. Tim Burton. I love Batman. I enjoy Beetlejuice. I like Edward Scissorhand. Ed Wood. I like. But I think other films he did after the films he did like. Mars Attacks, I was not a fan of. I did not like Planet of the Apes. Big Fish with Ewan McGregor, I have to rewatch again, so I can't say nothing on Big Fish. And then Corpse Bride, I haven't seen in a long time. Sweeney Todd, although I hated Alice in Wonderland, the 2010 remake of Alice in Wonderland. I did not like Dark Shadows. It's such a boring movie. And Frankenweenie, I actually did not mind Frankenweenie. You know, the good, nice of stop motion animation. I thought it was a remake of his own short film. I did not mind Frankenweenie. I think I reviewed it a while ago. Because I like it was nice. It's nice. I like the fact it was in black and white and stop motion animation. I actually did let him like Frankenweenie. Dumbo, the 2019 one. After back then, it was 2019. Jeez, it's been that long. I honestly would rather prefer it than Alice in Wonderland or this remake, honestly. And I know that he's doing a sequel to Beetlejuice with once again Michael Keaton coming back. But I'm sorry, but I think it's decades too late. I mean, it probably did a sequel probably within like the 90s. Because Beetlejuice was what, 88? Yeah, 1988. Yeah, sorry, 1988, and I think if we could have done a sequel, could have done it like what, in the mid 90s, you know. But so 98, 2008, 2018, and they said they're going to have a release for in 2024. So 2018. Like 26 years later, I think, yeah. Oh, no, 36 years, sorry. 36. 1, 2, 3. 36 years later. I just think that a sequel is too late. It's too late for a sequel for Beetlejuice. I mean, I like Michael Keaton. I love him as Batman, and he was great as Beetlejuice. But I think this is decades too late for him to put on like the Beetlejuice makeup, you know, and just. It's just too late for a Beetlejuice sequel. But yeah, Tim Burton just this man, I'm sorry, I think Sleepy Hollow and Batman were his best movies, but this is one of the worst ones he's did, and let alone one of Johnny Depp's worst. Okay, what else? I mean, the kids. Okay, Freddie Highmore, who plays Charlie. Now, my mom likes Freddie Highmore because Freddie Highmore he started in the show The Good Doctor, as you know, as the character Sean Murphy, who's, you know, how he sees things differently, you know, autistic, you know, and my mom enjoys Freddie Highmore in The Good Doctor. Of course, before that, he started in the show Bates Motel. And before this film, the year before this, he started in the film Two Brothers, which I reviewed a while ago. Who was it? It was that film. What was that film? He was playing the guitar. Was it August? It was August something, and I think Robin Williams was in that as well. But Freddie Highmore. But my mom enjoyed him in The Good Doctor. But him as Charlie, watching him again as. He was not bad, I would say, Freddie Highmore. He wasn't that as bad as Charlie, but I think the original kid, I forgot his name, sorry. He still was Charlie Bucket. The other kids who played Augustus, Veruca, Violet. I'm actually the girl who plays Violet Beauregard, and where's the girl who played Violet. I know, Anna Sophia. What was the girl's? It was Anna Sophia Robb. There you go, Anna Sophia Robb. Would later star with Dwayne Johnson in Race to Witch Mountain, which I liked that movie. I thought I liked her better in Race to Witch Mountain. She was also in Disney's Bridge of Terabithia. Of course, she was also in last year in Halloween month. She was a mysterious girl in The Reaping with Hilary Swank. And Anna Sophia Robb, yeah, but she was, you know, I liked her better in Race to Witch Mountain. She plays Violet Beauregard. I mean, the other kids who played Veruca Salt, Mike TV, Augustus, Gloop, I just didn't care for him that much, honestly. The guy who plays Grandpa Joe, Jack Albertson, I think he was better. This is me. See, this is what we talk about this movie because my throat keeps on getting clogged up here. Helena Bonham Carter, who, at the time she was married to Tim Burton. That's why I think it was after when he married her, after when they first cast her in Planet of the Apes, and then ever since then he's been casting her all other movies, like from Corpse Bride to Planet of the Apes, Corpse Bride, Sweeney Todd, Alice in Wonderland, this movie, and Big Fish as well. I'm like, jeez. I mean, what is this? Is he freaking Rob Zombie now? Who has a cast, like, who casts his wife Sharon Moon Zombie in all of his movies? I mean, God, you know. Or same with Paul W.S. Anderson casting his wife, Mila Jovovich, as well. What's up with these directors casting their wives in most of their movies, you know? Well, I gotta say, at least Hannah Baum Carr, I think she's much better than Sharon Moon Zombie, because Sharon Moon Zombie, she can't act for shit. Every time I see her in a Rob Zombie film, she's a freaking eyesore to me. Just want to put like it's like a tack hammer in the eye. I'm sorry, yeah, I can't stand Sharon Moon Zombie. She can't act for shit. Jeez, that's how much she bugs me. Freaking Rob Zombie. But yeah, that's an off tangent thing. But there's the whole thing of directors casting their wives in a lot of their movies. And I know, what am I talking more? Because one more I can say, it follows the same plot as the original. I mean, Willy Wonka gives out highest golden ticket, 5 golden tickets in Willy Wonka bars, and we find each of the kids finding the golden tickets. I will say though, okay, positives, okay. I know I say more a lot of negative, but okay, positives I would say. Okay, I'll give credit to the production design. The look of the movie, it still is a Tim Burton movie. The look of the movie, it still looks like it is a Tim Burton film. The production, like I said, is still pretty good, solid. Especially when it go to the inside of the factory. Especially when the first one they go to was the chocolate room. Visually good looking. There's to do a mix of practical sets, pieces, including mixture of CGI, yes, but the whole look of the visual look, yeah. So production design and the visuals. Although I will say at the time, yes, I will say that, but nowadays it doesn't hold up today because it's 2005 though. But still, I'll still give credit to like the production design and the visuals. I thought from the time of 2005, the visuals were solid from the time, okay? I'll give that at the time, the visuals solid, but when you look at it now, it is a bit dated, because even though it's from 2005, though. But production design and visuals, I will give credit to those. And then how the way some production sets look from the nut room, or even from the TV room, where it's all white, like how it was in the original. Or the production set of the inventing room. Little different touches up, right? But the visual, like when they're taking the boat ride, that's not the same as it doesn't have the same impact as the original when they're on the boat. And in this remake, you don't get none of that scary scene, of course. You know, where they're seeing all those visuals on the walls, like those crazy, like the chicken getting its head chopped off or whatever, or that one worm going on somebody's face, you know. Like, that you don't have none of that stuff in there. That is one thing that stands out in the original, seeing like those, when people first saw it, I'm sure they didn't expect to see those scary images, right? And then you get Gene Wilder acting psychopathically on the boat, you know. It's like, you know, just, yes, the danger must be growing, you know, where he said then, any sign that they are slowing. I mean, Johnny Depp has none of that. He doesn't have any of that Gene Wilder in this. That's one thing that stands out is that Gene Wilder, how his presence look, you know. Like I said, Willy Wonka, he's a mysterious guy. He's a genius, but he's very mysterious at the same time. And Gene Wilder, he captures that, you know. And before he passed away, you know, when he was interviewed about this movie, Gene Wilder, he said it was an insult. I don't think he can go further details about it though, but I think he blatantly said it was this was an insult. In which I agree. Rest in peace, Gene Wilder. You know, rest in peace, man. In which point I do agree. The film doesn't have the magic. It's like it's another one of those remakes. Like I say, it's a soulless. The Lion King. It's like The Lion King 2019. That was such a soulless. It's one of the most soulless remakes ever. That has no soul, no magic, doesn't capture the magic. It's artificial compared to the '94 animated of The Lion King from the '94 film. This I feel the same way. You know, doesn't have the magic. It's soulless, and it's artificial. Just to make money, bro. Which it did. It did. It made over 400 million worldwide. It was in the top 10 movies of 2005. I think it was like below. Yeah, it was below War of the Worlds. Because War of the Worlds made more money than this. Because it came on this. It came on the same summer of that film in 2005. Which I prefer. Which that's a remake I prefer better, honestly. Yeah, because War of the Worlds from Steven Spielberg, that was a remake of the original. That's a remake I would prefer because one thing is what kept me going because I like Tom Cruise and Dakota Fanning, you know, and there was some essence of things I liked more about in that remake. So yeah, same summer, 2 remakes. Which would I prefer? I would easily prefer Steven Spielberg's War of the Worlds than this. At least Tom Cruise, he still had that presence more than in that movie than Johnny Depp did in this movie. And yeah, there were some slightly changes in this film, like, okay, like see more of the candies, like we see like the sheep, you know, these pink sheep when they're being sheared, like their wool is like cotton candy, right? Or when they see, of course, the cows being whipped, of course, that's how they make whipped cream, right? Or the nut room. You see, instead of like, you know, the giant geese, right, with the golden eggs. Here we get the nut room with the squirrels, with getting the chocolate nuts out of them. I think honestly, I like the the geese in the original. Maybe this is one edge I think the remake has over the original. I think I will give credit to like the nut room with the squirrels. I think that's like one edge change I think I like more than the original. So if I were to give it a positive, I would say to that, okay? And with the squirrels, when they surround Veruca, you know, the chicken sees a bad nut, they just dump her down the chute, you know? And one thing with I gotta say, okay, the Oompa Loompas. Okay, first of all, with regards with the Oompa Loompas, the actor Deep Roy. If you go on my channel, long ago I put up a video where me meeting all the celebrity actors, right? I met Deep Roy. Nice guy. You know, he was a nice guy to talk to. I asked him what was it like working with Tim Burton, you know, him playing all the Oompa Loompas, you know, and stuff, right? The guy, he was a nice guy. You know? And that's one thing I will give credit to, yes. There on the one side, on the Oompa Loompas, I do give credit to Deep Roy, you know, trying to play every single Oompa Loompa, right? I commend Deep Roy for that. I do. I think he did the best he can, trying to play every single Oompa Loompa, like all the different parts they have to play when they're around the factory or when they're in a group, singing in a group, right? I give kudos to Deep Roy. I do. But on the flip side, okay, I just don't like the Oompa Loompas in this movie. Yeah, they're a little more tinier than the ones in the original, but the thing is, though, I think the Oompa Loompas were far better in the original. To me, the characters, not the actor, not Deep Roy, but the characters of the Oompa Loompas sucked. And the songs sucked. The songs with the original were... They don't even touch those songs in this movie. Don't even touch upon what the Oompa Loompas was saying in the original. To me, the songs sucked in this movie. I guess they're trying to do like a meme select to some old eat from a song from each decade though. But like with Violet Vodegard when she transforms a bigger CGI blueberry, right? And doing they were doing this, you know, like doing a disco type thing, and they're doing this with the peace signs. I'm like, the songs in the film that Oompa Loompas sing sucked. I'm sorry, it's not Deep Roy's fault. It's not, but I just don't like the Oompa Loompas in this movie. I think because I think the Oompa Loompas in the original were more unique looking. Yeah, they're not played by the same person. They were different short people. because they had a different size. They were different. They were small people, but they were like a little different, a little bit shorter or taller than the other ones, right? I like the with the with the orange face and the green hair. I thought they made the Oompa Loompas more unique, and looking. Here in this though, we get the backstory where because remember the original when Willy Wonka was explaining how we found the Oompa Loompas in Loompa Land, and the creatures, right? Here we get the backstory how he found them. I didn't give a damn about how he found the Oompa Loompas. Oh, where they praised the cocoa bean. I never give a shit about the backstory of how he found the Oompa Loompas. And speaking of, I didn't give a damn about the backstory of how Willy Wonka came to be. I mean, his backstory. Yeah, it's probably more explained in the original book. Okay, if it was in the original book, I can't say anything about it, though. But the thing is, though, me watching the two movies back to back, to me, I just didn't care about the backstory, though. Yeah, when he was a kid, he had braces on because his father was a dentist, played by the late Christopher Lee. And Christopher Lee, I miss Christopher Lee. I would say if I made a list, he would be in my top list of my favorite British actors. I would put Christopher Lee on there. I do miss Christopher Lee. If he was playing Count Dooku, my mom did like him back then when my mom was growing up. She liked him when he played Dracula. But I like Christopher Lee. I thought he was he was of course he was one of the Bond villains in The Man with the Golden Gun. Of course, what was his name? Something the wife from the Lord of the Rings, which I'm also not a fan of that franchise though. But it's not Christopher Lee's fault though. But I like Christopher Lee, and he plays Willy Wonka's father in this. Acting wise, Christopher Lee did the best he can. Rest in peace, Christopher Lee. He did the best he can in this. Yeah, but he's a dentist. He doesn't want his kid wanting any candy or chocolate. And then he disappears because as soon as Willy Wonka was going to run away, for some reason he disappears and takes his whole building with him. And by the time at the end of this movie, when Charlie takes Willy Wonka to see him, like his house is in the middle of freaking nowhere in the snow. I mean, why is his house in the middle? Wait, did he basically just lift his whole entire house from that? Because his house like connected to the other buildings, right? Wait, how did he just manage to spontaneously just cut his house off and then picked up and just drove it away, and then decided to go on live in the middle and just left right in the middle of nowhere? That's why I just didn't get it. It's like, why is his house in the middle of freaking nowhere? I don't know. So, but then by the end of the movie, like I said, he goes to see his father. Basically, they reconcile. Willy reconciles with his father. Hugging it out. It's like she was shocked to see that was his son. He's like, all these years and you haven't flossed, not once. And just the way Johnny Depp, the way he was like with his face. I mean, I'm sorry, Johnny Depp was so irritating in this movie. I just couldn't help it. Which is quite funny though. He reconciles with his father though, and by the end when Charlie brings his whole family in their house in, we see it's in the factory though. Where's Christopher Lee? I thought he was on good terms with his father again. I guess he didn't want to live with his father. His father didn't want to live with him. I guess, I don't know. And then what else is there to talk about? I mean, I'll say it plays the same thing like the original. Like I said, although I would say in the TV room, when they get to bring the giant chocolate bar, you have that theme. That was from 2001: A Space Odyssey. Dun dun dun. And when they transport the candy bar to the TV, you have those from 2001: A Space Odyssey with the monolith. Of course, it looks like the candy bar looks like it because it's rectangular. So that little touch from 2001: A Space Odyssey. Okay. And then my TV is a piece of little shithead. Well, my TV I said the Mike TV in this acted more of a little shithead than the one in the original. Because in this movie he was just constantly complaining more than the kid in the original. I'm like, it's just. And then he couldn't. Then Charlie's the only one left, and he has this glass elevator. And here in this, they see the remaining children. They leave the factory. Where in the original, we don't know what happened to the children. You know, because Gene Wilder said, "Oh, I think they're gonna be just fine." But here they see them. They see them leave They leave the factory. You know, and seeing what happened to, like, Augustus. You know, he's covered in chocolate. Violet, she's back to her normal size, but she's still blue, but very flexible though. Veruca and her dad are just covered in garbage, and that's more I can say for this movie. And then Mike TV, he's stretched paper thin. He's really literally is paper thin, tall and paper thin. And then he brings him to his house, and then he says, "Hey, I'm gonna give you my whole factory. You can come with me, but you can't bring your family." And yeah, and one thing I would say about Freddie Highmore's character as this version of Charlie, he's so saintly in this movie. I don't know if that's a word though, but he acts more of a saint in this movie. Like, he never thinks about himself. He always puts his family before his own happiness. You know, especially the dialogue he says. He's always right and everything. You know, like Kenny's never supposed to have a point, or that stuff. He talks like a freaking saint in this movie. I mean, I don't think the kid in the original Charlie, who original, didn't talk like that. But yeah, I already said, but I mean, Charlie is a Chocolate Factory, the 2005 remake. Oh yeah, this is a 2-disc special edition, so that has more features on the second disc. But oh, I forgot to mention the song sucked. The score by Danny Elfman, who's done basically the scores on all Tim Burton's movies. Danny Elfman, he's done better. I mean, Danny Elfman has done better from other films. I mean, especially from Sleepy Hollow and Batman, even Beetlejuice, and even Batman Returns. Danny Elfman has done better. Especially when he's not working with Tim Burton, like with Darkman. Danny Elfman's his score in this film is just, I would say, subpar. I would say. Danny Elfman, he's just done better. That's pretty much I could say. So yeah, the 2005 remake of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, it sucked. I'm sorry, and like Johnny Depp, he was so irritating in this film, I just could not stand it. This is why, to me at the time when I saw this was the start of the downfall of Johnny Depp. I mean, he just acted so creepy, like he was like basically acting like a pedophile, basically the way he was talking to the kids, you know, and the way he was laughing, like, and the jokes he said in this film was not funny at all. Like, like everything in this room is eatable. Even I'm eatable, but that is called cannibalism, which is frowned in most societies. Or, you're really weird. He just the jokes I thought were not funny. Johnny Depp, this is one of his worst performances. He was acting like Michael Jackson. That was a wrong choice. I didn't care about his backstory, how he came to be, or him going to, or the backstory of Loompa Land. Oh, I forgot to mention about the story about the Indian prince, how he wanted to build a palace out of chocolate, which this prince was a fucking idiot. I would say that. Sometimes like I gotta stop holding myself back on this stuff though. If it irritates me that much, why I hold myself back on it. Yeah, the prince was a fucking idiot. I mean, he wants a palace made entirely out of chocolate, and even Johnny Depp, Willy Wonka, he warned him. You know, he said, "Hey, it's not gonna last. You better start eating right away." The prince doesn't listen to him, and what happens? The whole thing starts to melt. I'm like, what do you think was gonna happen, you dumb prince? You think it was gonna stay like that forever? You didn't think if you wanted a house of chocolate, why don't you just go move to the Arctic then, and where it stays frozen then? Here, at least where you're at on a hot day, it would melt. Well, maybe you should have melted. Maybe you should have been melted alive along with in your chocolate then, you stupid prince. What do you think was gonna happen if you built a palace entirely out of chocolate? You think The sun is not gonna melt that whole thing. Jeez. That guy wasn't. That character was a freaking idiot. Jeez. Oh, it's quite funny though. When Grandpa also gave another backstory, like how when he said when he used to work for Willy Wonka, when Willy Wonka opened his first store, right? It's 20 years ago, right? And he said, "Oh, well, I was a much younger man back then." Grandpa still looked the same, old as hell. Now, of course, if they did with today's age, they probably would have de-aged him. You know, like with Ant-Man, the start of Ant-Man, how he de-aged Michael Douglas, right? How Michael Douglas looked younger when he de-aged him in the beginning of Ant-Man. Good, you know. Maybe they didn't think about the time. Maybe they didn't have the right thing to de-age somebody back then. I don't know. I can't remember what time when they would do that though. But I'm like, I was a much younger man back then. But yet, Grandpa still looked the same age he did 20 years ago. But yeah, but Charlie the Chocolate Factory, it's to me, yeah, it's another remake, the cash-in remake, which it did. It made the money, but the thing is, though, it was another soulless remake, artificial, didn't capture the magic of the original, right? And yet also they want to make another movie of. It's called Wonka this time. It's a prequel, right? It's supposed to come out next year. It's a prequel. It's called Wonka. It shows a young Willy Wonka before he opened his factory, before the Oompa Loompas, how this guy became a genius at making candy, and before he opened his factory and stuff like that. And it's being played by the guy who starred in the 2021 remake of Dune. That guy. Was it Timothy Clementine? I forget the guy's name. So he's supposed to play a young Willy Wonka. I don't give a damn about that. If it's a prequel, didn't matter because how would it? I don't know. Yeah, that's my thing. I don't want to keep on going on. This is, to me, it still sucked. It was great seeing the original on the back on the movie screen back in April. It was great to see the original on the big screen. It was such a true classic back then. Yeah, Roald Dahl maybe prefer this over the original because probably this is more closer to your book. And you disown the original. I'm sorry, Gene Wilder. I'm more in agreement with Gene Wilder. How he said this was an insult. Rest in peace to Gene Wilder. I do agree with you, man. But yeah, that's my rant on the 2005 remake of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory or Willy Wonka. Either way. Yeah, I'd probably just say yeah. I mean, if you like the film, that's fine, but I would just go back and watch the original, where it had like the true magic and imagination, right? Like even the songs, like what Gene Wilder was singing, you know, pure imagination, or the Oompa Loompas singing their song, Oompa Loompa doopity doo. And the score, and the original score in that movie was great, timeless and memorable. Here, Danny Elfman's score is not memorable. The songs, especially the Oompa Loompas singing, sucked. And there's a Deep Roy. It's not Deep Roy's fault though. He did the best he can. I commend him trying to act out every Oompa Loompa though. But at the same time, I did not like the Oompa Loompas in the movie though. I don't know what I'm gonna say, but I was gonna keep on rambling. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more for Anime Month, and we'll see you next time. Later.